Hi, my name is Mike Ward, Global Head of Thought Leadership for Life Sciences and Healthcare at Clarivate. And I had the pleasure of moderating a panel at the on Helix meeting, which was entitled "When Do Good Neighbours Become Good Business Partners?" And essentially, what that discussion was going to be around is sort of looking at the sort of the ecosystem in sort of the Cambridge or the Greater Cambridge area that is covered by one nucleus, and sort of going, you know, how much value can people actually get from working with people who are alongside. So as we all know, lots and lots of people go to the sort of the big international conventions, the bio international convention that was in June, or they go to the sort of bio Europe meetings, where they go and they sort of see sort of potential partners, and these tend to be sort of people who spread all over the world. But what we're actually doing is sort of was exploring, sort of saying, are we doing enough to actually sort of see what's in our own backyard? Because one of the things that we are completely blessed with in the sort of golden triangle of Cambridge, London, and Oxford is one of the most fertile, active bioclusters in the world. In the work that I do, or where Clarivate helps the UK Bioindustry Association, is we actually look and sort of see, right, okay, where are those big clusters and how are they performing, and the UK, and particularly that golden triangle, sort of seems to perform pretty well. So the question is, well, okay, so what is it, and how best can we tap into the resources that are effectively on our doorstep? So we pulled together a really great panel who people who represent different elements of that ecosystem. So we had Michael Anstey, who is a partner at Cambridge Innovation Capital. We had James Fry, who is a partner at Milton Reeve, which is a law firm. Lara Ginroy, who's managing partner at East Anglia and co-head of RSM's UK Life Sciences Group. She's an audit partner there. Laura Lane, who is representing sort of big pharma. She's a VP and European head of Eli Lilly's Life Science Ventures team. And Claire Thompson, who is the CEO of Agility Life Sciences, which is a CDMO, which is actually sort of based in sort of the Nottingham area. So instead of talking about the golden triangle, she actually referred to a golden diamond. And essentially we were looking at sort of seeing, right, okay, what are the elements that that Cambridge has got, and actually are we making the best of it? So therefore I was able to ask some sort of provocative questions like, hey, what happened in Cambridge? Was it because of the university, or was it in spite of the university? I raised the point that in the early days, back in the sort of the 1980s and early 1990s, it was a lot more difficult for companies to spin out of the university. But we sort of had a discussion about actually how that was now a lot simpler, and in fact, people like Cambridge Innovation Capital are very much a part of that. One of the questions though that I did ask Michael was actually around when they are involved in company creation, they'll have a portfolio of other companies who are actually based in the area. Do they actually almost like proactively sort of try and build those relationships? And one of the things that was coming out of the discussion was, in fact, that the executives in companies actually have to be proactive to actually create their own community, to sort of to establish those links. And this can be done almost like informally as well. And so Claire, for example, is a sort of a big advocate for sort of inclusive sports, etc. And I think she's actually managed to sort of create links with potential partners through sort of a mutual love of sport. what we did here though was that, you know, while obviously it is there are benefits of, you know, operating locally, it's still important to look globally, because there will be people, or there will be organizations that are sort of, you know, beyond the sort of the sort of half-hour drive that one might have, that can actually still help build. And therefore, you know, sort of the likes of sort of multinational pharmaceutical companies, which, you know, in the sort of Golden Triangle, we have, you know, we've firmly got, you know, GSK and AstraZeneca, but, you know, people like Eli Lilly are actually sort of very, very active in, you know, supporting companies, and actually, you know, recognizing that they need to be good neighbors. And that neighborliness is not just around, oh, we're going to license your product or whatever, but actually looking to sort of see, you know, what other sort of like techniques or advice, mentorship, if you like, can, you know, a multinational actually provide, you know, young up and coming companies. So we had a sort of, you know, a sort of a pretty sort of lively discussion. I mean, one of the sort of the big issues always about, you know, what does it take to have a sort of a vibrant ecosystem, is actually access to patient capital. And when I raised the sort of the issue that, you know, that was a problem in the UK, I was kind of like shot down in flames a little bit by the panelists who were suggesting there was actually plenty of money in the UK, and you know, everything was going to be okay. I kind of beg to differ. There might be plenty of money for the early startups, but we've always really struggled, or, you know, sort of the work that I've done with the BI, it's clear that accessing capital to build critical mass has in the past been very difficult. However, a couple of weeks after we'd actually run the panel, Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the British Chancellor of the Exchequer, at the sort of the Mansion House speech, actually outlined sort of pension reforms which would actually not just encourage, but actually require pension funds to actually allocate a certain proportion of their money, of their funds, to support these early stage companies. So it's one of those things that, you know, we can sort of see, you know, as we go forward, that there may be some sort of you know, light at the end of the tunnel. The conversation that we had though at the On Helix meeting about, okay, when do, you know, good neighbors become good business partners, is it's part of a sort of an ongoing discussion actually we've had at various other One Nucleus meetings around this whole idea of, you know, how do you create, you know, better networks and better partnerships. So we didn't get all the answers necessarily, but we certainly, I believe, moved the discussion forward. We raised other issues that people need to think about, and I had a lot of fun moderating the panel, and I hope you have you enjoy and benefit from listening to the recording of the discussion. Thank you.